It is known as the greatest show on dirt, the Men's College World Series, and I am Johnny Sports Network, here to provide you with my College World Series predictions. And what a field we have in Omaha this year. The Tennessee Volunteers, the Florida State Seminoles, the Virginia Cavaliers, the North Carolina Tar Heels, the Kentucky Wildcats, the North Carolina State Wolfpack, the Florida Gators, and the Texas A&M Aggies. Which one of these 8 teams will win the national championship? And I am really excited to get to this video, even though I am not as confident as I was last year. Last year, I correctly identified LSU would defeat Florida in the College World Series finals. And there is no doubt in my mind that we are in for the most competitive College World Series, at least ever since I started watching sports, as we have 7 national seeds in this College World Series. The only non-national seed in the field is Florida, and there's no true Cinderella team this year. People would look at the seedings and say, well, Florida's a Cinderella team this year, but Florida is not a Cinderella team. They were just in the College World Series finals last year, and they fell just short, but they are back in Omaha. I truly would not be surprised if the College World Series finals consisted of both teams that advanced to the finals if they lost their first game and rallied all the way through the losers bracket to reach the final. That is how competitive that I feel like this field is, and I'm sure a lot of people also would feel that this field is really competitive, the most competitive that we've had in a long time, if not ever. And I'm going to get right to the bracket. I'm going to be starting with bracket 1. The first game for bracket 1, North Carolina and Virginia. And I am going to go with Virginia. As Virginia, they were the first team eliminated last year. And I do think they learned from their mistakes last year. I have Virginia advancing. Tennessee and Florida State. I have Tennessee advancing to the winner's bracket. In the loser's bracket, North Carolina and Florida State elimination game. I have North Carolina advancing, which means I have Florida State eliminated. Virginia and Tennessee in the winner's bracket. I have Tennessee moving on and Virginia going down to the loser's bracket. North Carolina and Virginia. I think North Carolina gets Virginia this time around as they advance and Virginia is eliminated. Tennessee and North Carolina. North Carolina would have to beat Tennessee twice to advance to the College World Series finals. And I do think that Tennessee will get it done. I think Tennessee advances to the College World Series final. I have them winning bracket 1. I do think Tennessee goes 3-0 in bracket 1 to advance to the finals. On to bracket 2. The first game of bracket 2, Kentucky and NC State. The last time NC State was in Omaha, they had a really strong chance to win, but they had to be sent home due to so many players. Well, you know what happened. I don't want to get into it here, but I have Kentucky advancing in the winner's bracket, NC State going down to the loser's bracket. Texas A&M and Florida. And I did say I would be surprised if Texas A&M advanced to Omaha, and I was a bit surprised, as there were some comments that said that A&M should advance to Omaha without a loss, and that is exactly what they did. And they did, however, lose Braden Montgomery and Shane Sadejo, losing the strongest player on your team and your second best pitcher. It's going to be insurmountable odds for Texas A&M to rally, but I do feel like they can, as watching them throughout the season, just the way that the Aggies, the way that they rally for each other and everyone's there for everyone and everyone's happy for each other. It's very inspiring. But I do have Florida advancing, and Texas A&M goes down to the losers bracket. But I did say in the beginning that I would not be surprised if the College World Series finals consisted of two teams had to rally through and advance all the way through the losers bracket, which could happen. I really want to see Texas A&M win the whole thing, but I have them in the losers bracket against NC State. And Kentucky and Florida in the winners bracket. I have Florida advancing, Kentucky down to the losers bracket. NC State and Texas A&M. I have Texas A&M advancing to play Kentucky in the losers bracket. And then Kentucky and Texas A&M in the losers bracket. I have Kentucky advancing, where I have Texas A&M eliminated after eliminating NC State. And Florida and Kentucky. Kentucky would have to beat Florida twice to advance the College World Series finals. I have Kentucky getting Florida once, but not twice. I have Florida advancing to the College World Series final. I have them advancing in bracket 2. And in my College World Series finals, Tennessee and Florida. And this would be a very, very exciting College World Series finals. Although, really any matchup is going to be very exciting because of how competitive the field is. We have a true SEC ACC showdown in this College World Series, but two SEC teams in the finals, as I do think the SEC will once again win. But I have Florida getting redemption from last season and winning the College World Series. And I did say in the beginning I was not as confident as I was last year. Last year when I picked LSU to win it all, I had to base my pick. Well, I based my pick last year based off of who reminded me of who. And LSU last year reminded me of the Vanderbilt teams that have won in the past. This year's Florida team reminds me of a better version of the Ole Miss team in 2022, where there was controversy on how Ole Miss got in. Many felt like NC State should have gotten over them. But Ole Miss won the entire thing. And just like this year, there was a lot of controversy about should Florida have gotten in. And I have Florida winning it all. I think that the experience last year is going to pay dividends for Florida, and I have them winning the 2024 Men's College World Series. And that will do it for my predictions. Comment your predictions down below. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, enjoy the College World Series.